Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. There have you game 3 of a best of 5 between Gonzo and Karma in the grand final of the Season 4 playoffs of the Steel Division 2 League. Once again, I must encourage you guys to go check out the last 2 videos of this best of 5. The last 2 games were absolutely awesome, so definitely check them out. Moving on to game 3 here. It's currently 1-1 in the series. Both players have taken a game off the other. Gonzo won the last game, Karma the first. This time around, they're both playing on the Allied side. They are playing on Sianno. On our left, playing in the red team, this time around we have Karma using the 3rd Guards Mechanized core and the Vanguard deployment type. And on our right in the blue team, we have Gonzo using the 7th Mechanized core once again and the Vanguard deployment type. So Gonzo coming out of a game winning with the 7th Mechanized, going straight into the next game using the 7th Mechanized. Karma must feel confident that he can defeat the 7th Mechanized, otherwise he probably would have banned it. So here we are, 3rd versus 7th. 3rd is a strong division that does have Shermans that can counter the T-34 playstyle of the 7th quite well, but he will have to find a way to deal with the heavier units such as the ISU-122s, because at range those ISU-122s are going to be popping his Shermans left, right and centre. Gonzo also is going to have that strong air presence. The 3rd Guards Mechanized don't really have great air options. It's okay, but they have like lags for fighters and stuff. So I feel like Gonzo is certainly going to have a handle on things in the air. Third Guards can bring in maybe a few 37s to help slow that down, and I'd like to see Karma maybe try and shut down Gonzo's airplay this time around, because it was something that definitely affected him quite a lot in the previous game. But we're already underway. Let's just have a quick look at what sort of infantry we have and units we have going down. It's going to be an Avto and a Gavardia for the top side with the Partisan MG. Dosor, going to see the Gavardias moving towards the top town with a 50mm mortar in there, MG42 and a ZIS-2. M17AA from the start with 4 Shermans and a Partisan unit. That's a lot of units on the top side. 1 Gavardia for the mid, 1 Gavardia for the bottom side, and 1 AT gun. On the side of Gonzo, it's going to be Strauki Komrossi moving into the town with the Razvidka, followed by 3 Strauki. Strauki on the top side, moving in there with ZIS-3. We've got ZIS-3 moving into the centre, PTRS and 2 Flamers moving into the town, Strauki Komrossi moving into the town as well, followed up by multiple Strauki SVT and the Tanker Thessaloniki. This 45mm might get some nice shots off here. It looks like it's just a little bit out of line of sight there. It's a strange place to unload that. 2 infantry guns on this bottom side with 2 Strauki and an ISU-122 from the start. And one thing to note at the start of this game is the difference in veterancy once again. Gonzo has brought all his Strauki in with 1-star veterancy, which means that with 1 leader nearby, he instantly makes his units 2-star veterancy. And they are going to be infinitely stronger than a standard Gavardia squad without veterancy. So here, trading from cover to cover, the Gavardia were losing out until, well, the M17 started blitzing them with 50 cal ammunition. But yeah, 1 for 1, these Strauki squads are a lot stronger than the Gavardia with that extra veterancy. Makes a big difference. With the tank sort of following up here, Gonzo's going to have to start falling back. Going to move up the Razvidka, look for some bazooka strikes. If he can get the bazooka strike onto the M17, he might be able to enable some airplay to maybe shut down some of the bombers and stuff, or some of the Shermans and stuff in the meantime. So yeah, the Razvidka goes for the shot onto the M17 first. He's going to jump back out there, realign, get a second shot, this time onto the further M4. Gives him a chance now to shoot at the closer M4. Unfortunately loses line of sight briefly. Can he get it done? Fires it off. Razvidka uses up all its ammunition. And that's 3 armoured units down. M17 gone, 2 Shermans taken care of. T-34 is now rushing in to position. and to help out that topside town. But Strauki here have moved up. It looks like the units that Karma has brought into this topside really gave away the fact that he hadn't invested much into the bottom side. That's now something that Gonzo is pushing for. He's just pushing his Strauki SVT forwards and finding that there really isn't much here. If he can get his Strauki Komroti behind these Strauki SVT at this mid-range where they can use their SVTs, this Gavardi is going to melt. The Zis-2 on the road did force the T-34-76 to fall back. PE-3 coming in to clean that up with the 100 kilogram bombs there. Nice bombing strike. This Zis-2 though might help finish it off. That's going to be a turret stuck. T-34 it's pretty much out of commission at this point. Zis-2 just finishes it off. So now 2 more Razvedka, 2 Strelki coming in there to cover off that attack. Now, even with Gonzo creating this tiny salient on the bottom side, it's still only 12 to 12. Because Karma's made quite a lot of ground by taking this town and also has put his influence over the flag in the center of the map. So that's very good for Karma so far. His M2A1 pushes forwards. T-34 is in a pretty hard spot to be in. The M4s could continue the charge here, supported by the Avtos and the Gavardia. Got the Shermans to cover them. Strelki SVT, again going to be smashing some Avtos in the open here on the bottom side. These 2 Shermans have arrived to try and fend off the attacks from these infantry. Nice thing is when you just place a tank like this in front of an infantry advance, it forces the infantry to stay in the heavy cover so they don't go any further. So whilst the M4 might struggle to actually find and kill these infantry squads, those infantry squads aren't going to be able to move out unless they have some sort of ranged AT weapon that can kill the tank. So now Zis-3 from the top side actually getting a decent shot there into the M4, and the second shot gets the kill. These 2 Strelki squad that moved down from the top side have got the flank onto the partisans as they run across the open, so they're getting chipped down pretty fast. Avtos have made it into the heavy cover though. Last M4 is alive, so only 1 left out of the 4 that started. Valentine slowly moving down the road there. Would be actually really good for taking on the T-34s. The T-34 1942s though, with the 90 front armor, can be kind of annoying to deal with. Gavardia though, moving up on this bottom side, gonna take back these flags. 14 to 10 now for Karma. In a nice spot at the start of this game. Really solid push through. Did pay dividends on this top side. Has put his infantry in a strong position. This Avto though needs to be microed a little bit better to stay out of line of sight of the machine guns. But the Razvedka spotting that from one side, and if it moves to the other, the T-34 killing it off, so I don't think there's actually much more he could have done there with the Avtos. P3 coming in again with a bombing strike onto the Zis-2. These bombing strikes super important for Gonzo in the last game, and it looks like heading out the same way again. With the Tankos and the Strelki, Gavardi getting absolutely annihilated. M4's backing off to prevent that from continuing through. T-34-76 looks for the engagement with the M4, does not find a kill. M4 also doesn't really get any penetration in there. The Zis-3 flanked by the half-track. Looks like the half-track might actually get the kill here. Unless the Strelki can save the day. Well, they will. Oh, no, not quite. Last burst of the 50 cal. Kills off the AT gun. And I'd trade a half-track for an AT gun any day. MG42 is starting to engage some Strelki as they reveal themselves. That's a lot of infantry coming in here. Avto, 2 Gavardia, 3 Gavardia, another Avto, and a 50mm. This 50mm is really nice, actually, providing smoke at short range, as well as providing some indirect fire mortar support. It's also good at direct fire. Another P3 coming in for a Zis-2. Since Gonzo has been liking to use the Razvedka as frontline infantry, he's actually left him in a pretty nice spot because he can spot these AT guns very well. Cobra, though, should make short work of the P3 if it can get on its tail, and it does for just long enough. The P40, though, will shoot that down, I would hope. No, probably not, because the Cobra is faster than the P40. Nice job on the bottom side by Gonzo. Gets a double surrender there from the Tankos. Cleans up some more of the infantry of Karma. He's now going 3v1 versus the Sherman here. Gonzo's also brought up the ISU-122, but the Cavardi are taking out a free unit of infantry there. Not good for Gonzo. Half track will also go down, but these Thrauki have now been cleaned up. The Partisans at close range can be a menace to deal with because of the Molotov cocktails. You have enough of them just constantly pushing around the enemy units. It doesn't allow you to clean them up quite well. Tankos make short work of Cavardi at close range. Nicely done. Gonzo takes back some ground on the bottom. Still ceding ground on the top. The Strelki that were in this area were forced out. Now it looks like they're going to try and make a pushback with the support of the T-34. But it's going to be hard for this T-34 to find line of sight. It will be able to kill off the 50mm here, unless it can get some smoke in front of it. These don't cost very much though. They're only 20 points. It was trying to smoke the road, but the T-34 couldn't get the shots off. Now the T-34 is getting dangerously close to this infantry. On the bottom, the P-40 is still strafing away. Another P-3 bombing strike did come through. The triple T-34 looking for the engagement with the Sherman again. Just trying to outnumber the Sherman every time that he engages it, because the Shermans do naturally beat T-34s quite well. Their aim time's really fast, and it can be quite obnoxious sometimes. So just making sure that he guarantees a kill with these 3 T-34s is quite important. He already has his turret fire pointing in the right direction, so job done there. Partisans are already falling back, so that will give Gonzo another flag on this bottom side. P-40 comes in for the strafing run onto the infantry onto the top, as one of the Strelki runs away. Other Strelki was taken out, and it looks like the T-34 got a little too close for comfort, taken out likely by some close-range AT weapons. Now these two flamers going to be unloading. Smoke at the front of this convoy would be nice to avoid some of the rifle fire coming from these squads. Looks like he's not going to rely on that, just gets into cover. Valentine looking for the kill onto one of the T-34s. These T-34s have now spread out. Look at that flame, he's just going for the flag further back. And the flag in the centre. Big old salient here caused by the two-man squad. This is something that Gonzo does very well, is he does find gaps in the front line and then exploits them with like minimal units. But Gonzo splitting up his tanks here might cost him a little bit, because this one just died 1v1 versus the Sherman, which is to be expected. And these two further back are, or further up, one of them's already been damaged by getting caught out by the Valentine, so gotta be careful. Su-85 and the Zis-2 are actually getting the better of the ISU-122 at the moment, and that's now forced to fall back. It is out of the line of sight. It's killed by the Tankos on the bottom to hold on to that flag. It was forced to fall back, but the IL-4 looking for the bombing strike. Gonna be dropping 500 kilogram bombs here. PE-2 coming in from the other direction, looking for the kill onto the Zis-3. Will the IL-4 get the kill? It looks like the bombing strike actually killed the T-34. Zis-2 takes out the T-34 as well, but the Su-85 did go down earlier. So that looks like there was a relatively even trade there on both sides. P-39 Cobra versus P-40. P-3 also coming in with its 20mm in the front, looking to help out a little bit. Nice hits there, actually onto the P-40. Another Cobra coming in. P-40 should go down. Armor overwhelming Gonzo with these Cobras close to his air spawn. That's good, he needs to get some control over this air. Make sure he shoots down a few of these P-3s and P-2s to stop them from continuously bombing his AT guns, which has been the case so far. Now we're looking at the Strelki engage the Lesvitica here in the MG42. The P39s can certainly help by strafing these. Tankos, they didn't manage to do too much here. Unloaded close to Gonzo's Tankos, and Gonzo's Tankos had the jump on those. So they managed to come out on top. I think because Gonzo was in the building, he purposefully jumped them out when the Molotov was thrown, so that he dodged it, and then managed to just kill them with the extra veterancy there. Things have kind of stopped for Karma on the top side. He did manage to push back Gonzo quite well on this very top area. He hasn't ceded this flag yet, but it seems that the multiple salients on the bottom side have really got Karma's attention, and rightly so, because this is a lot of ground lost so far, even though Karma does actually have a reasonable amount of units here in comparison to Gonzo. But more T-34s arriving is going to put the M4 under pressure. 45mm AT gun might try and help at close range. Against these 1943 variants can do okay because they've only got 75mm of armor, so the 45mm has reasonable penetration. But more Tankos on the way. The two in the town will help the Resvitka clean that out. And the one up top might be able to deal with the Flamers, most likely will because of the Molotov. A few more Tankos coming onto the bottom side. Now going for the 2v1 to clean this out, but this Tanko already done a ton of work. Avtos going to be unloaded into the town here. Looks like Gonzo's trying to make a little bit of ground back. We'll be able to get the flag for the time being. We'll be following that up with the T-34 76s to kill that single Cavadia. Actually 122 up the road. Pulling that off actually for the time being. Or partisans get the Molotov onto the Tankos. The Tankos, damn, they might actually be able to pin that partisan in time. Not quite. Avtos are going to have to finish the job. That does remove a lot of the infantry that was defending there. Whilst Karma continues to try and push back on this bottom side, this Tanko was made to retreat from the engagement 2v1. Tankos and the Resvitka moving in here. We'll be able to get some good shots actually onto this AT gun, so that's probably going to go down. When you get both the rifles and the machine gun onto the AT gun, it dies very quickly. Strafing run, well, making it even quicker. ISU 122 gets got towards the M4 but actually misses. Can it finish the job? We'll wait and find out. Strelki SVT getting melted there as they try and charge the Sherman. Actually missed again. The ISU 122, it does have 50% accuracy, and at that range it's more likely to hit than not, so unfortunate there for Gonzo not to get that kill onto the Sherman. One of the T-34s has gone down. Now it's a 2v2 in terms of T-34s. Strafing run for the P-40 is too late. Tenko's already took out the Flamer, so looks like Karma's managed to stabilize a little bit. 13 to 11. Gonzo's now on the counter-attack though. It still feels like he has the initiative, although that's a nice kill. Resvedka clean up the ISU 122. That make things difficult to continue against a lot of this medium armor because his medium armor just isn't as good. So he's going to be playing like the reverse bank defense here, keeping the T-34s at close range, so that when the Valentines and the Shermans move forwards, he can get the shots in first, because he'll be able to see them coming with recon further back. However, because the Shermans do aim very fast, that might not actually be the case. Oh, the P-40 here getting greedy with those strafing runs, and the P-39s punish him. Nicely done, Karma. IL-4 coming in with the two 500 kilogram bombs. All these Avtos get pinned down. Running back to the church, that's not going to help them. They get pinned. Tankos do take the suppression there as well though. Might be a good thing though, because the Strelki were engaging them from range, and that's not something you want to have. So the Tankos, if they just kind of sit quietly in the building, should be fine. This M4 looking to clean up some more Straki there. T-39 still hovering about. Might look for strafing runs in the future. But here comes another bomber. 2v1 on the Tankos, but the Tankos don't have any Molotovs left that we're attacking, so they couldn't push them out the building. So the Tankos in the building actually did quite a lot of damage there. And so that's going to just be finished off by the bomber. Now we're going to see the 2v1 engagement with the M4s. P3 late on the bombing strike there. P39 takes out one of the P2s. And is it going to survive the AA? There's two 37s. Nope, it goes down. P37 taken out, but lovely P2 kill. That's one of the T34s dead. 2v1's not what you want to see. Strauki go down. I think the Valentine picked up that kill. More Avtos moving into this bottom side. This Tanko still has one Molotov available, so the Avto won't be able to use the cover here. So the Tanko, with the support of the M4, might actually be able to get the job done. One of the Avtos already killed before it unloads. Second one's going to unload in front of that M4. It's going to take a lot of damage, starting to fall back. Yeah, that attack's not going to work at all. T-34 briefly spots the Tanker Dostaniki. Not for long, they're going to hide again. Razvedka sneaking. Getting there. Bazooka on target. T-34 takes out the one further up as well. That's two Germans going down. One's already being replaced though. IL-4 coming in for the bombing strike immediately onto these Razvedka. And the 37s stop that bombing strike from happening. No, they can't. The bombs get released. The bombs might just be completely far off. Oh, no, close enough. Close enough. And the IL-4, will it get away? Yes. Does have very good resilience. Azvedka here, trading back against one of the T-34s. Both players really using these Razvedka to their advantage. Again here, Razvedka manages to get behind and kill one of the AT guns of Karma. Things currently 13-11. And it's looking relatively even across the board. Gonzo's controlling the bottom side. Karma's controlling the top side. That's pretty much where we're at right now. Bit of a stalemate in the top town. On the bottom side, these 37s are in trouble though. Gonzo can't really allow them to be engaged by Shermans, because the Shermans will kill them very quickly. And that Sherman, oh, beautiful hit there onto the T-34. T-34 fired first, but the T-34s have such less amount of accuracy, like 30% accuracy on their main gun compared to the 40%. Big difference, and at close range, it's pretty much amplified because the M4, it's got 2-star veterancy, pretty much got a 100% chance to hit at close range. And, well, there goes one of the AA pieces. It's going to make the IL bombing strikes a lot easier for Karma. So this is looking good for him, actually, on this bottom side. Uses the Valentine to take out the T-34. Now we just got to wait for the bombing strikes to come in, clean up the support weapons. And then we'll see probably an infantry push supported by M4s across the open. P3 just hanging about. Quite sure that what that was doing. I think Gonzo maybe lost eyes on that briefly as he was focusing elsewhere on the map. Sometimes the players, they'll zoom in, do micro infantry engagements and stuff, and therefore will lose sight on the wider field. And sometimes it's just hard to keep track of your planes on the minimap. Either way, Avto's here trying to dodge the Molotovs. They take 2 Molotovs to the face, kills 1 Tanko unit. Going to be able to retreat with the Avtos though, so I would say that was a win for the Avtos there. Su-76s, oh, almost sniping both of the Gavardia. A mistake there for Karma. I don't think he really realised how much pressure he was under in this area. Again, 2 more AA on the top side here. Look at that. 37mm. That IL-4 is definitely hanging around way too long. it didn't automatically evac straight away when it dropped the bomb, so it might actually get shot down. With the bigger bombers like this, I often like to do like Shift V, which is like evac orders. I think Karma let that bomb and then realized he needs to evac it, and it was just too late because it's kept flying straight for a little while over the 37s. Did end up getting shot down because of that. Zoroark have captured the town though here, and it looks like it's Tanko out of machine gun ammo. It's odd. I don't know why the tankers wouldn't be firing back if the Zoroark can fire at them. Anyway, IL-4 coming in again for another bombing strike, and once again it's not being evac'd immediately, so that might actually get shot down. It's being forced back by the AA shooting at it, and that's not what you want to see. But Karma has definitely made ground back on the bottom side. He's forcing this 37 away, and that may open up bombing strikes on the bottom. IL-4 did survive, that's why I was keeping it so zoomed out. Zis-2, back the ISU-122 for now, but that Zis-2 is going to want to hide as these two infantry guns open up. M4 into the town, what's going on the top side? Close range engagement between the T-34 and the M4. T-34 gets the victory this time around. That's very nice indeed. Zis-2 is going to die to those infantry guns. So more Zoroark will help cover off this 37 on the bottom side. Going to see the Sherman move up to help clean up the infantry guns, but the ISU-122 will likely force that off or kill it. Zoroark and Avtos trying to clean up the Guardia. Oh, lovely kill from the M4 at range. Takes out one of the T-34s. Zoroark getting further up than I expected. The Valentine does not have line of sight on the road. Would have been nice. So the Sherman's going to go down there. Not sure if that was killed by the HE of the infantry guns or the ISU-122. P3 is going to be coming in for a bombing strike by the looks of things. Maybe that was aimed at the M4 there, but because the M4 died, it didn't do its bombing strike. Regardless, Avtos continuing in engagement in the center. Avtos should beat Guardia 1v1, but where there's so many guns on target here, these Avtos are really suffering. The more Zoroark being forced to be brought in. Tankos, they're going to get forced out of their building. Not able to ambush the Zoroark, that's unfortunate. Because that's certainly going to give Gonzo a strong position in the edge of the town. So now we're sitting at 12 to 12. Things have gone back to even across the map. It's looking very 50-50 in the center. This center road that leads all the way down the map is always a good indicator of where the front line should be on this map. On the bottom, Gonzo making sure he keeps control of this town. The Guardia here, I guess they're quite happy to engage Zoroark from a range because they do have an extra machine gun, but honestly this engagement's kind of pointless for both parties because it just reveals where their units are rather than doing any damage really. So Zoroark coming in here at close range. There's no real difference here other than the fact that these Zoroark are already engaging. 1-to-1, this could go either way. But a little strafing run from Gonzo or something might be able to help out a little bit. Karma's still going to back off. I guess the Zoroark do have one more Mosin, so technically the Zoroark should win. Off map though, coming in onto Karma. Here we go. That's going to be 203mm off map from the KV-1E. Gonzo used this to great effect in the town in the previous game on the top of Shedrin. This time around using it to attack Sianno. And so far so good. He's going to be trying to unload as far up as he can. Look for any surrenders. any close range AT grenades onto enemy units. Nice surrender onto the Su-85, and the infantry squad there now looking for the kill onto the Sherman. Might find it. Did get the AT grenade off. And yep, the M4 goes down. Lovely off map there. Followed up perfectly. Often you'll see players use off map to just do damage to people and then not follow it up with any form of push. And that is a big mistake that newer players make in this game. That was a perfect example of how effective off map can be at dispersing your enemy, but then you follow it up with a bunch of infantry units or anything really that's relatively quick, and you can go for those surrenders, you can go for those kills because your opponent is left in disarray. So really nicely done there. KV-1E can also hold this ground pretty well. It does have the 110mm of frontal armor, which is just a little bit too hard for the M4s to deal with. ISU-122 getting a lovely HE shell into the partisans there as well. The Strelki are moving to make more ground. 13-11 for Gonzo. 23 minutes until Karma loses this fight. Partisans are holding a little bit of ground here. Wonder if at any point Gonzo will try and clear that up. Probably not worth it for the time being. T-34-76 gonna have to back off from these ZIS-2s. I wonder how many ZIS-2s Karma has. He's been using those from the start of the game. He's had a lot of them available. Gavardia on the main road though, getting sniped by the KV-1E. Karma's gonna have to unload the next one early. Strelki in the town actually get taken out by the partisans, supported by the M4. Now we're gonna see the 203mm off map be dumped on the top side, and this is not good news for Karma, because if the SG and the ZIS-2 go down, there is nothing else really standing in the way of all this infantry advancing on the next flag. The lovely bombing strike takes out the ZIS-2. T2 doing its job. 37, just not much it can do about that. This VZ-VOD sitting taking damage in the open isn't ideal. Let's see, Strelki versus partisans. The Strelki here are getting caught in the light cover versus 3 units that outnumber them, so that's never a good place to be, and the Gonzo's infantry will go down because of that. KV-1E hitting the 37 there. E3, oh, nice bombing strike, perfect. Will allow the Strelki to look for a surrender here. Karma will probably fall back, I would expect, once he sees the Strelki move towards him. Yeah. So the KV-1E is looking to try and kill this 37. It can also safely engage the Sherman at this range, I would expect. Let's see if Karma's off map can do enough damage. The 152 is pretty concentrated, like it has a concentrated barrage, so I would expect the KV-1E gets forced back. That might allow the Sherman to then get the kill here. It'd have to maintain line of sight, so it really does depend which way this KV-1E drives. The T-34 maintaining position though. That does have line of sight onto this road. If he could turn that and hit some of these transports before they get into the town, that'd be good. And you can see that Karma's trying to capitalize on his own off-map now by bringing in the Gavardia to follow up. The Gavardia in this case are a little bit too slow because the units that were pinned down are now no longer. So that's going to cause these Gavardia to get caught out quite a bit here. And he does lose 2 before they unload. E34 versus M4. Oh, the bounce! The bounce at close range there. Damn, that's unfortunate for the T-34. That M4 managing to survive by the skin of its teeth. So no more engagements for the time being on this bottom side by the looks of things. All of the concentration by the players is on the top. Karma now dropping another off map further up, maybe to chip some of these Strelki, but there is more Strelki coming in. And with this M4 showing itself on the road, I would not be surprised to see that just unload in the circle here of this off map. This off map could hit very, very well, especially if the tanks keep moving forwards as well. KV-1E though goes down to the same M4. That is very unfortunate for this KV. It was even front armor facing. Damn, this M4's been an absolute hero. Now gonna melt some Avtos that are pushing forwards. The positioning of this Avto is very questionable, but they're going to get killed quickly. Strelki engaging Partisan should win that engagement. This Gavadia will get pinned down quickly once the ISU 122 fires another shot. So that off-map did land. It didn't actually do too much damage to these squads. Left a couple of them low, but not too many. So Gonzo still making ground. P3 coming in to clean up the Gavadia. Doesn't really hit the mark there due to the AA panicking it a little bit. The Gavadia get away with that one, only losing one man. Again, still not much going on the bottom side. M4 at close range, just cleaning up this infantry. I don't think there's too much concern for this 152. Gonzo knows it's fired its barrages. And looks like the tanks there are going to finish things off regardless. The M4 goes down. Off-map vehicle follows, and I guess the T-34s will probably kill off this 37 as well, if they can get a shot on target. Meanwhile, ISU 122 doing some damage to the Gavadia here. 37 is dead on the top side. That's going to allow for more PE3 strikes from Gonzo. Gonzo's looking in much better shape than he was 10-15 minutes ago. Lovely shot there from the SU-85 down the road. Driver killed the T-34. Gonna allow him to maintain a ranged engagement where he has the advantage. Oh, and his off-map killing the ISU-122 is wonderful. The IL-4 was coming in for a bombing strike, but looks like that was called off due to lack of line of sight, or maybe because the target was the ISU that died. T-34 does go down to the SU-85 at range. And seems here that Gonzo's really trying to solidify his position and get maybe the double tick to finish the job. If he could claim both of these flags on the top side, he'd be in a fantastic position to finish the game quickly. Does start the double tick. That's 8 minutes left on the clock. But on this top side, the M4, there isn't much to stop it. The SU-76 is being forced to fall back because at close range an M4 is just gonna completely snapshot an SU-76. So two T-34s being brought over by Gonzo to counteract that. But as long as that Sherman stays alive, he's going to continue to doing damage to the Strelki. And Gonzo's kind of getting baited to chase the M4 with his infantry, and then Karma's microing his tank back. But the SU-76 does actually manage to get the kill, so nicely done. And now Karma's looking in a bad spot on that top side, and the VC VOD there. Damn. Getting a free infantry kill as Karma gets a bit over-aggressive with that squad. SU-85 going to kill off these IS-3 here. They can continue to engage the T-34s at range here, actually, whilst the M4 engages them on the road. New M4 is going to make things difficult. Actually, I don't think that's a new one, because it's already low on 50 cal ammunition. But either way, those T-34s in a bad spot. The APCR shots coming through. That T-34 can constantly be pressed on by these SU-85s. And with the Gavadia, the new Gavadia arriving here, that will allow Karma to even things out on that top side again. ISU-122 is actually going to be brought over to the top side, so Gonzo is probably lacking availability of these ISU-122s at this point, and so he's having to fast move it back to the top to help deal with these units at range. Because he had the previous one in the town, and he was, I guess the plan was to use that to prevent reinforcements getting to the town for the time, for like any longer during the game. Because of the off map, it allowed the M4 and these SU-85s to advance on the town, and now he's able to get some infantry in there as well, supported by that armor. So Gavadia versus Strelki. Strelki low on numbers here, so I'd expect the Strelki to lose out quite significantly. Double AT gun from Gonzo, he's doing it again. We already saw this once. Just spamming in the AT guns to get rid of these tanks. Just gotta hope that there's not infantry close enough to shut them down. That PE3 bombing strike not quite in time. The M4 did die on the top to the two T-34s and the Su-76. If they can kill the next one, single that out, that'd be really, really nice. 37 actually helping with the infantry engagement here. 45's moving up, but all the machine guns are on target. Does manage to hide for the time being. T-34. I think that went down, yeah it did. The APCR shot managed to get the kill. Oh, and a lovely transport snipe to follow. That 35-point AT gun pays itself off in a couple of seconds. Beautiful stuff. Alright, the Su-122S is on its way. I'm surprised that he queued the fast move orders over here. I guess just guaranteeing that it goes the way he wants it to, but it wouldn't be much faster if it just had one order to get all the way to the top, because then it would get there faster. Either way, P2 coming in with the bombing strike once again. Will that do enough damage to pin down these Gavardia? I don't think it will. It'll pin down the ones further back, and the 37 helps clean up the Su-85, but the three Gavardia at the front are a big threat to the support weapons. The 45 can get run down by the Gavardia. The 37 will probably get killed by the Gavardia as well due to the MGs and the rifles getting on target. These are actually quite expensive units for Gonzo to lose. Might open up Karma to start using more aircraft again. Although I'm not quite sure how many IL-4s he's going to have left at this point. More Staraki being brought in from Gonzo. Just to go on the defensive here in the town for the time being. Just to prevent more Gavardia from pushing up. 3 T-34s though in position. Not quite sure what happened to this engagement on the top side, but the T-34 and the Su-76 went down. The triple T-34, they could get through this town quite easily at this point, because of the only thing really in their way is the one Su-85. But this bombing strike from the IL-4 here, going to force back both of the Strelki. Can the T-34s get into position before the Gavardia get into these buildings? Because if the Gavardia get into these buildings, the T-34s end up having to take a wide berth, and then they're forced to engage things like the Sherman. Which is not good. So, Karma did have the IL-4. The 37 not really be able to do much because it's in heavy cover right now. That's just completely line of sight blocked. It needs to move out. P3 does manage to get a nice bombing strike in though. Vizivod on the way to provide more veterancy to the Strelki. See how much more that Gonzo considers his veterancy, like how much more he values the veterancy than Karma does. Karma's just happy running his infantry into Gonzo and then relying more on his support from the 2-star Shermans, whereas Gonzo, it's the opposite. He's kind of like relying more on infantry veterancy and then has his T-34s to back him up. T-34s, they're not going to benefit as much from veterancy as a Sherman does, because Shermans, they have 40% accuracy base, and then the veterancy is a percentage on top of that. It's a percentage of 40%. Because the base veterancy and rate of fire is lower on a T-34, it benefits less from veterancy than a Sherman does, which is why he's probably not bothering as much with the veterancy on the T-34s. Also, availability is of course a thing. Like a problem that he's got to deal with. But having the Strelki upvetted, especially in the early game, isn't that much of a hit for Gonzo. I think he loses like 3 squads per card. And as with the extra veterancy, they become much more valuable regardless, so pretty nice to do. 45 more AT gun here, getting a engagement against the T-34 1943. That's the shooter knock. No penetration though. S45 now looking for the engagement with the Su-85. Does manage to kill it. Gonzo just looking for cheeky snipes here. The PE2 coming in with the bombs will likely take out the 45. Nicely done. So now the push coming through. 3 T-34s making their advance, and I'm surprised like how much we're still seeing on the field at this point. Both players, of course, vanguards, so no advantage there. Things have been pretty damn even throughout this game so far, just swinging backwards and forwards slightly, but not to the extreme where anyone's really been double-ticking the other for too long. Karma has lost a lot more points. Gonzo is in the driving seat of this game with the ticket advantage, and if he manages to successfully off-map this town, then he'd be in a great spot. But this is a lovely counter off-map. Oh, this could be so good for Karma, because Gonzo's off-map's going to land. He saw it coming because the KV-1E just drove straight down the road. So I feel like Karma knows this is coming. He's placed his to counter. So what's going to happen is the off-map will land, Gonzo will start pushing, and then as he pushes in, Karma's lands and just annihilates his push in the open. This could be really strong. And here we go. Let's see all the T-34s moving forwards to take advantage, to fast move into the town, and then all of a sudden, boom, off-map on top of his units. It's a little bit early for the Strałki, unfortunately. So it's probably not going to kill too much, but certainly stops the push in its tracks. That is amazing. What a play. And just a beautiful counter there from Karma. Just he's even put it on its own objective. He knows what's coming. Okay, cancelled that one. I was going to say a little bit ambitious maybe. I don't know. But again, you can see how they're actually thinking about this off-map placement by cancelling it and moving it there. He knew that was coming, and it was perfectly timed. It was beautiful. It really was. And now, with this next off-map, placed where it is, these T-34s are going to stop falling back. They're going to push forwards again, straight into the next off-map. And also, this off-map's in a much better position to kill some of the infantry. So, Karma's going to come in with a couple of Valentines. This will allow him to cover the main road quite well, especially against units like the T-34s, because these do have the better penetration. And then his Gavardia is going to have to deal with the Strałki. So yeah, the T-34s moving back in here. These two, the damaged ones, are actually out of the off-map, so that's unfortunate, because otherwise they might have died. But that's 2 Strałki squads killed there. On the top side, the P3 gets a Gavardia kill. 37's probably not going to kill that because it has no veterancy, but this is a beautiful chance for the M4 to get a couple kills. Going to force that one back with the bounce. Those will actually finish off one of the Gavardia. Nice kill onto the KV-1E, takes care of one difficult unit at least. Can he then get a free kill onto the T-34 as well? Can indeed. Now this M4 can look for the next T-34. The other T-34s that are coming down are actually a bit damaged. So those will die easily to an M4. Because it looks like this M4 is pretty fresh. It's barely taken any damage. But look at this town. This poor town has been absolutely annihilated. Still more infantry coming in. Gavardia on their way. One of them's going to get taken out by the T-34. Or the other one's getting very greedy. Not quite close enough to kill the T-34, unfortunately. That's going to die. This T-34 is dead. M4's still in a strong position there. PE2 came in with the bombing strike off-map. Further up for Gonzo, but no follow-up for that, so an interesting choice. IL-4 now coming in for the bombing strike. 137 with the 1-star veterancy there. Probably won't stop the IL-4 in time, but will certainly cause the bombs to disperse a little more. M4 looking for long-range engagements from the top of the map. That kills off the AT gun and the Strelki squad, pins down the VZ-VOD. This long-range engagement with the Sherman's probably a pretty good chance for Karma to get some side shots. Yeah, he's moved up here. Oh no, his M4 fired at the ISU-122. Oh, that was so unlucky. Like, naturally, armored units, I think, always fire at the highest armored unit opposite them. So, in this case, it killed the ISU, or it targeted the ISU-122, and it had clean side shot into the T-34. That was, that was unfortunate. To avoid that, you just have to micro. And in this case, didn't quite get away with it. Had the ISU-122 being the spoiler there. Looking for a free kill onto a Sherman at range. The Sherman on the top side died. Both of those Shermans dying puts Karma in a precarious spot. Because these T-34s are still alive both on the top and bottom side. There are two Valentines at closer range. The M4 did go down at the backside of this lake. M4. 2-star veterancy should kill the 1943, but the 1943 gets the kill. Oh no. Things are really falling apart here. Valentine goes down as well to the ISU-122. The armor advantage on this top side just completely swung in favor of Gonzo, and he's going to be bringing in 4 tanks, make that 5 tanks with 2 Dosor to provide the recon for those tanks. And I guess he's just going to charge. He's just going to go straight in. Looking for the surrenders onto the SG-43s here. Claims that flag. 13 to 11. Karma's in trouble. He's got minimal tickets. Rozvedka though. That's not what he wants to find. Goodbye T-34 bazooka straight in the face. Strelki are now moving up though, so the other 4 T-34s should be okay. 2 of them were moved up to push through the light cover. 2 of them are going to be pushing down the road. Dosor might get killed in the open here by the Su-85. The Rozvedka can see those for the Su-85, so that's causing a problem. Oh, nice. Nice bombing strike. Takes the Gavardia down enough. Can the Dosor finish off the Gavardia? 37 doesn't have line of sight, so yeah, that Gavardia should just get killed off there by the Dosor eventually. The Strelki, 2 squads of Strelki getting the better of the Rozvedka. Now we've got a situation where it's like 4 pieces of armor versus the Valentine and Su-85, but this M4, did that just get penetrated? I think it did. By this T-34 1942 at range. Su-85. He's microing the ammo here. Valentine gets a penetrating shot on the front T-34. And that advantage that Gonzo falls away in a second. Both of those T-34s are forced to back off. Now Su-122's on the way. M4's looking for side shots as these reverse. Tough spot for Gonzo if he wants to continue that push. Now still nothing going on the bottom side. Both players completely fixated on the top side for most of this game so far. We're currently 51 minutes into the game, not including deployment. It's been a hell of a long one, but it's been constant fighting. Both of these players still have stuff up their sleeve. It is ridiculous. Like, they build these Vanguard decks so deep that even 50 minutes in, we're still seeing both players bringing in new infantry and new tanks and all sorts of stuff. Although I feel like Gonzo might be getting low on infantry again. Karma definitely builds his decks, I think, deeper than Gonzo does. That does help him out in these longer range, or these longer fights. Oh, both of the Su-122s died immediately to the Su-85 and the Valentine. Oh, that's unfortunate. Those aren't cheap. And they're quite valuable at this point because you need them to kind of chunk the infantry squads that you're not otherwise going to be able to deal with. So, yeah, that was unfortunate. The Su-85 and the Valentine just really doing the job there. ISU-122 kind of gets paid back against the Valentine at least. We'll now look for an engagement with the M4 and the Su-85, but Karma's not going to let that happen. More and more T-34s on the way. Strelki going to find a 45 mil. That's a good kill. The Strelki. Lag 3. Not going to be able to do much. This aircraft completely sucks when it comes to strafing. Oh well, it's kind of bad all round, honestly. It's pretty terrible for taking down enemy aircraft as well. 37 though, going to pin down that Strauki, and then the SG-43 is going to get the surrender there. Strauki are moving back up to that flag to capture it, so that he can maintain the 13 to 11. Currently 8 minutes left now. Still Karma loses the game. But Karma, I feel, especially with the reinforcements coming in, 4 more Gavardi, sorry, and the Rozvedka, still getting the better of these T-34s, will eventually be able to take back position. That's another one going down. This Su-85, with the help of the M4, just done absolute work here. Those 2 more T-34s dying. More infantry coming in. I don't think Gonzo can match this. Bombing strike from the P3 does kill the M4. But without the recon squads, like now both the Dosor are dead, his T-34s are going to be pretty much blind. The PTRS squads can try and be that recon, but they're not really going to do much. When a player is bringing in 3 PTRS squads to fight Gavardia, well, you know that he's out of infantry. There's going to be a VT VOD on the way. Another AA piece. But bombing strike coming in here. That's going to land close to his own units. Well, actually pretty much perfect in terms of pinning down the enemy and not pinning down himself, so good job there. Karma takes back position, 12 to 12. And, well, I assume from here on, Karma's going to have an advantage. If he still has infantry left, then he is definitely the one that can finish off this game. It's so difficult to play when you don't have infantry. Like, just using tanks to deal with things like Gavardia is so difficult. And when all of the flags on a map are in concealed locations, like this one's in the middle of the town, this one's in a light forest, this one's like close to heavy forest, this one's in a town, this one's near heavy forest, you can't drive your tanks onto the flag to capture them without them being killed. So that's why infantry is so important, because infantry allows you to hold the objectives closely. The only way, I guess, Karma could maybe try and like arty or bomb his way through these objectives, but it's quite risky. There could always be one squad left that, so for example, like these Gavardia, like the Rozvedka might survive the bombing strike and then the Rozvedka kill your tank. These T-37s trying to kill the P2 have managed to get the oil leak out of it. Bombing strike landed quite well though. P2, will it go down? It's pretty vital for Gonzo that he doesn't lose these bombers, and there it goes. All of the Gavardia did get pushed out. Allows the VZ-VOD to push through. ISU-122 claims the kill on the Sherman on this top side. Does Karma have much armor left? That's one thing I'm a little bit worried about. Guess he does. Another Sherman is on its way. Seeing some Gavardia DP coming on the bottom side. Counteract the push from this infantry can that was unloaded just now. 14 to 10. 6 minutes. 45 seconds left on the clock. I wonder how Gonzo's feeling right now, because he knows he's got to win sooner than later, because he's running out of infantry, or has run out of infantry. Like, how do you feel about this game at this point? You're holding the flags in advantage, but you almost know that you're going to lose. It must be such a horrible feeling after a game that's lasting so long. Like 56, 57 minutes, you're still seeing fresh Gavardia squads come out of your opponent and fresh tanks coming in. That's gotta be a hard place to be. I feel like Karma's just gonna take this due to pure attrition, and it just shows us how much of a crazy game this has been. The infantry gun might actually kill this Tanko Desaniki, so that's something. But the Gavardia DP will finish that off, and the Valentines might get a couple of points of damage in there with its HE. That was actually a direct hit, but it didn't take any damage. That's just because the Valentine has such terrible HE power. Danko's actually managed to hide, so the flag goes back in favour of Karma, and will probably remain so. Further up, the Gavardia and Rezvidka having a face-off against the VZ Vod. Look at this. 5 more units of Gavardia on the way. Off-map coming down. There's just nothing Gonzo can do to stop this. The Gavardia finish off the infantry gun. And I think Gonzo is out of tricks. And the T-34s can try their best to push up, but ultimately they just can't get past the infantry. Nice kill onto the M4 though. That T-34 will probably die to the off-map because it's already been damaged. Valentine kills the T-34. Infantry gun reveals itself in the centre. That wasn't particularly good. Probably wants to try and maintain hold on that flag, but the Gavardia here will likely now go for that. These 3 Gavardia will be pushing through the off-map. That unit not actually pinned down. If that recovered, it might kill those transports. You've got to be a little bit careful with that. Okay. Looks like they were falling back fast, like long enough. Now these Gavardia are getting hammered. Those Straki will get pinned, and now that's 13 to 11. Gavardia unload close to the infantry gun. Infantry gun revealing itself will feel that there's not much else there. It's going to be another flag for Karma, and this is going to very quickly spiral out of control for Gonzo now. With no infantry left, just no control over the map. And whilst medium tanks like Shermans and T-34s can be very strong, ultimately, infantry is what you need first and foremost. Can't hold an objective with a tank. Doesn't work. T-37s are being brought in. Using AA is a desperate last-ditch attempt, and it can work. If AA can do some serious amount of damage to infantry, and if he manages to kill off all of the infantry that keeps pushing toward him, then that does give him a chance to fight an armored battle to win the game. But Karma likely won't let him do that, so that's the trouble. Like against AI, for example, because they just constantly push, you can use AA against them quite effectively. But in this case, Karma's smart. He's a player. He knows what he's doing. So he's not going to allow Gonzo to kill off his infantry with AA. He'd probably just rather wait the 20 minutes to win. So, I mean, we're over the hour mark. I don't know how much longer we've got in this game, but it looks like Gonzo's kind of falling apart here. The AA is chipping some of these Gavardia, but as long as they stay in cover, he's going to maintain control of that objective, because no T-34 or anything is going to be able to drive in there and take it back. Su-25 trying to kill the ISU-122, but the ISU-122 is holding its ground. That Partisan's just been sat the entire game. It's this one dude. What's he even doing? He's just chilling. Look at that beard. Absolute boss. In the back line, like, oh, looking after his comrades' bodies. It's like, eventually I will get relieved. I think that beard probably grew throughout the length of this game, honestly. Anyway, IL Force coming in with the bombing strike. I do get forced back by the triple 37. One of them actually gets shot down. PE3 coming in with the bombing strike. Does do a lot of damage to the Gavardia. The double 37 doing quite a bit of damage as well. But yeah, as soon as Karma sees that there's 2 37s on this hill, he's not going to push out of the trees with his Gavardia again. So what can Gonzo then do to take back that flag? There's pretty much nothing. He can try and maybe push the 37s forwards and hope that he reveals the Gavardia and kills them at close range, but again, it's unrealistic. It's not really going to happen. Nice Valentine penetration there onto the T-34. Perfect range engagement for the Valentine here. Takes out the T-34. Could likely take out the 122 if it wanted to as well. Didn't have line of sight. Actually didn't have line of sight there. And then the SU-122 managed to fire the heat round into the Valentine to kill it off. Incredible. Alright, still trading. Still trading. It's just insane. Razvedka here, going to go back into hiding. T-34 has been picked off on the top side. Still so much infantry here for Karma. Once he gets it into this heavy cover here, all of these 37s become under threat. And then so does the armor, and it just continues to fall over like waves. T-34 goes down. Only a matter of time. Gonzo's making a little bit of a counter push on the bottom side with the infantry that he does have. But this is a well-protected position from Karma. He has the two MG42s up on the ridge. He's got the Valentine that can kill any armor that approaches him. There's not much ground for these Strelki to make here. They will find and kill the Razvedka, but that's probably about it. If they try and get up onto this ridge, the Tankos can take care of them. So now the Razvedka moving forwards and backwards here to engage the 37. All he needs to do is just like move back. That's probably unnecessary that I died. Like honestly, you can just show yourself a little bit, shoot them for a tiny bit here. And as soon as they start aiming, just start falling back, break the line of sight, make them aim again, etc, etc. And then you eventually kill them, rather than just like sacrificing squads like this. Regardless, he will kill them. Just a little tip for the rest of you guys for killing AA, because AA does have quite a long aim time versus ground units. Ooh, nice direct hit there by the SU-122 onto the SU-85. This SU-85 is hidden though, so we'll likely be able to get the shot back. We do also see the the supply truck go down there. Oh no, the partisan died. No! No, Bob! Why did you die? So sad. So sad. I called him Bob, because, you know. He had to have a name. MG42. Going to be trying its best against you, Strelki. P3 looking to open up the gap there. The Tankos shouldn't have died. They kind of got caught out because they were too far to the edge of the forest. I thought that Karma might notice this and fall back with them so that they got a fair, well, I'd say a fair fight, a better fight for themselves. But he doesn't need to. Karma's got more infantry. So, yeah, who am I to question his methods when he has all of the infantry that he ever needed to finish this game? And the 37s... Gonzo did actually go for the attack move with the 37s into this tree line. That is ballsy. He's actually bringing up the combat to give them veterancy. To try and push them out here. Gonzo's still looking for a way to win this. Like, surely if he sees the wave of infantry coming in, he knows it's over. The only other reason that Gonzo, I would say, would do this is if he was just trying to like drain his opponent for the next game, maybe. 37 goes down though, 122 is gone. Who's gonna win? Dosor or Gavardia? Gavardia should win, yep. And then the MG42 gets taken out by the by this, but Gonzo's eventually gonna surrender. I really want to see those AA pieces take on the Gavardia there. But that's going to be it. 66 minutes, 24 seconds. Blimey. What a game. Again, these guys, they're too good for their own good. They make these games last forever. Two Vanguard divisions, butting heads, both of them trading insanely well throughout the game. And, well, there you go. The kills and losses are actually incredibly close. Just Karma's deck was deeper than Gonzo's. Pretty much the only difference. Comes down to the deck composition. Incredible. That was, yeah. That was quite something. In the end, the M4s certainly do outmatch the T-34s in most cases. Pretty much every case. At range, at close range, because they aim faster. And Karma did try and use that to his advantage for the most part. I was surprised to see the amount of Zis-2s that came out. I don't feel like the Zis-2s were very effective at all. In this case, killed a couple T-34s. I guess that's all they need to do. They're not that expensive, so probably that pays itself off like twice over almost. Yeah, the Zis-2s, I don't know if I'm a big fan of those. Only 2 of them, it looked like, got any kills. And he must have brought in a lot throughout the game. We saw Gonzo bomb many of them. The Su-85 player was beautiful on the top side. He used those to support the Valentine and the M4 very well. And that's something that I have been noticing throughout these replays is the use of a medium tank supported by a tank destroyer. Because I feel like the enemy tanks are automatically aiming at the unit with the heavier armor, and therefore the tank destroyer is getting free shots unless the enemy player is paying attention and make sure that they kill off the unit that's easier to kill first. So yeah, that's like a combination that I'm seeing quite a lot here, and something to maybe implement into your own gameplay, guys. But yeah, very back and forth. Gonzo getting loads of value out of his aircraft again with those PE2s and the PE3s. It was a bit more contested this time around though, with the Cobras coming out on the side of Karma to try and shut down the aircraft on the side of Gonzo. He did manage to kill quite a lot of them with those Cobras, but that ISU-122, beautiful kill list there in a 1v1. That's 4 Shermans, 2 Valentines and an Su-85. Lovely stuff. I just want to check the P40 kills. There's so much to look at in this game because it lasted for so long. So many units on the field. Where are those P40s? P39, sorry. Got a P3, killed the P40. P40, P2. Maybe not as many as I thought they killed. Regardless, fantastic game. This is a 1 hour 10-minute video for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. That was awesome. Honestly, it may be a massive strain on my voice, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. What a crazy final this has been. So that puts Karma 2-1 up against Gonzo in this final. We'll have to see if Karma can win the next one and take the #1 spot in the Steel Division League Season 4. Or if Gonzo can bring back another game and we go to the 5th game. That would be awesome. We'll have to wait and see. That's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.